If you grew up listening to these songs like I did, don't worry, we'll lose our virginity eventually. These are the songs that made me. Power Metal Edition. Today I am going to be playing this absolutely exquisite Ernie Ball Music Man JP15 guitar, sent over by my very good friends at Sweetwater. More on that later. As we continue to get closer to the release of the new In Virtue album, Age of Legends, out November 21st, pre-save link in the description, it's time to run down what I consider to be the most important influence for my songwriting, which is power metal. Although there are some songs on the album that are very clearly power metal influenced, I consider power metal to be at the core of basically everything that I write for the band. I often refer to In Virtue as power metal without the leather pants and dragons, and I think that it was the first music that I heard that I discovered that I felt like was really mine. The song that we're starting with today isn't just what I consider to be one of the greatest power metal albums of all time. It's one of my personal top 5 albums of all time, and that's Temple of Shadows by Angra. I've noticed that I put a lot of album openers in these videos. I don't know if that's just because people choose the best song to put first. I mean, that's kind of a smart move. We did not do that. I mean, I think the first song on my album is pretty awesome, but it's definitely not the best one. For me, the number one thing that grabs me about power metal is the fucking drum beat. This the kind of like 2-step, 2 and 4, like whatever the hell you want to call it, taking it to church, D beat. It has so many names, but that sort of driving beat, especially when the double bass kicks in, it sets fire to something inside of me. And I use it as often as I tastefully can. But I would say as you're listening to Age of Legends when it comes out on November 21st, listen for when that beat happens in the songs. Because for me, those are the biggest moments. Those are like the most important. And it just puts me on a completely different plane, to be honest. It's kind of a drug. I have such a distinct memory of listening to this album while I was commuting to Berkeley, sitting in the Alewife T station, right, waiting for the train to come in, and just having my mind blown while I'm just sitting in this like kind of gross train station place and being transported so far away from where I was and just having such a nice little vacation from reality. The songwriting and performances on this album are wildly fucking good. Every part of it is so rich and interesting and beautiful and technical, but without being fucking annoying. I've been very lucky to be able to hang out with Angra a couple of times. You may recognize their current drummer, Bruno Valverde, in our music videos as they're coming out. And we were having dinner in Miami before we were getting on the cruise, the 70,000 tons of metal cruise that they were playing. And, you know, I'm trying to be cool. But I asked Felipe, the bass player, I was like, how is it that you guys are able to write such amazing power metal that's like better than everything that's out there? And he was like, I mean, it's pretty simple. I don't listen to power metal. And I was like, yeah, that's smart. And I think it's true that people who only listen to the kind of music that they're trying to make usually just make a very poor copy of it. But there is this sort of like stereotype, or it's kind of a joke, but it's also kind of true, that Brazilians do it better. Like they'll just take something that already exists and just make it their own style and make it way cooler and better. If you've ever had a Brazilian hamburger, they put all kinds of crazy stuff on it that you think wouldn't work, but it works and it's really good. And of course, you cannot swing a dead ferret anywhere in Brazil without hitting 50 incredible musicians. It's just not fair. I don't know why they're always telling other bands and musicians to come to Brazil. There's so much amazing music in Brazil. Brazil needs to come here. Paha! A lot of power metal is sort of based in this escapist fantasy mindset, and I used to really be into that. I used to really love the Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy sort of elements to it. I'm not really into that anymore.
Sounds as though someone has forgotten the world of magic and monsters. But what is music if not magic? And what a guitar if not a wand for casting magic spells? And if a guitar is a wand, then Sweetwater is Ollivander's. It's the best place to buy a guitar. They do a 55-point inspection and setup of the guitar before they ship it out. And of course, candy! If ye wish to cast thy own epic spells with your very own Ernie Ball Music Man JP15 wand, click the magic link in your description below. Whoa!
These days I like to write about things that are a little bit more real to me, even if there's sort of like a fantasy setting for it. And I think that truly great fantasy is about the story. It's not about the dragons and the orcs and shit like that. But this next song, to me, really nails down why it is we seek out this sort of escapist fantasy stuff. The song is called Misplaced by Sonata Arctica. And this song hits me harder than maybe any other song that I've ever heard. Lyrically, musically. Another album opener. I guess I just don't really find those deep cuts. I love this band so much, and this song means so much to me. It's just pain that I relate to. As you'll see in the lyrics, he's talking about feeling like there's nowhere that he feels at home. And throughout my entire life, I have never really felt like I've ever been part of something, like part of a group of any kind. I've never felt like I belonged literally fucking anywhere. I've never felt understood or like really at home, and it hurts a lot. And this song sums it up better than I ever could. I wish that I wrote this song. Also, it's musically fucking white hot. This is the best lyric video I could find, and for some reason it also has the lyrics in Korean, so enjoy that. Like, it's hard for me to consciously pay attention to the lyrics and not like get very emotional. To me, this is why it's so important to be so vulnerable when you write songs. Tony Kakko fucking pulled back the bowstring and skewered me right through the heart from 5,000 miles away in Finland. And you can do that with music, with art. But only if you're really super vulnerable, incredibly honest with yourself, and you just write the truth. This feeling that he's talking about in the song is the reason that we feel like we need to escape into fantasy. There's a line in here, do you ever feel a need to go back in time, a dream of mine? This references another Sonata Arctica song where he says the same thing. I'm going to figure out which one it is. Oh, it's San Sebastian. Back in time with a dream of mine. I try to find my way back to life. To me, that feels like a little thread of continuity, a little breadcrumb. This fucking line, it's hard to read. This time was not made for me. I have nowhere to land, no place to rest, like a bird without a nest. I I can't think of a lyric that I relate to more than this. I think metalheads en masse kind of feel like this. Like, it attracts neurodivergent, outcast people. And then musically, this fucking pre-chorus is like take fucking note of this pre-chorus. In the end, all I can do is and then to go to fucking major right here. To take us back to D minor. The saddest of all keys. This is timeless songwriting. So the chorus has the same chords as the intro, which makes the intro sort of a sneaky instrumental chorus. But we don't actually get to the refrain, the sort of song title, until like halfway through the song here. Key change. Clever key change to get us back to the intro. And then another wild little key change. I didn't learn this part, so. Solo, a whole step down. And then we gotta back to the refrain. It fucking hurts, man. This song hurts to listen to for me. You know, in a good way. Like, it's supposed to make you feel things. But come on, like, fuck. I flung my plectrum. Slap on your fire suit, because this might be my hottest take ever. My Halloween is better than Raw, Master of the Rings, and The Dark Ride. No shade to the Michael Kiske and Kai Hansen era albums, but to me, Andy Darris, Uli Kush, and those songs are peak. It's also possible that I'm a bit biased because those were the albums that I heard first, but nonetheless, they are, I think, objectively great. And this is one of my favorites. Honestly, it was kind of hard to pick. This is from Master of the Rings. This is Still We Go. Such a weird way to open a song. One of the things I love about this band is that they don't take themselves too seriously, even though they have some really serious material. Best drummer in power metal. And they're like, for power metal, ultra heavy a lot of the time. I think this is just a great example of a big, sexy hook that power metal just doesn't exist without, you know? A lot of metal just does not know how to write a fucking memorable chorus. Power metal's got plenty of its own shortcomings, all right? But they always deliver the fucking chorus. That's so weird. This is such an incredibly stanky groove. I fucking love this verse. Ultra simple and chunky. Kind of stupid even, but like, it just hits. One of the things that I don't love about power metal is that sometimes they just don't really have riffs. I'll take great songs over riffs any day, but there's no reason you can't have both. There's no reason. Halloween often has fucking riffs. This is a great example. I legitimately do not know how to play this yet. This is one of the craziest fucking songs in all of power metal. Their song Revelation. I love this song. I didn't choose this one because it's really long, but this fucking riff, man. It's impossible. Close enough. I just think that people should be studying this stuff to make interesting, solid, well-written songs that are still heavy but really melodic, ultra catchy and memorable, powerful, great harmonies, like really cool, interesting chord progressions, and they do have fucking riffs. They just came out with a new album. I have not listened to it yet, but I did get to see them play, and what they're doing now is fucking crazy. Like, this is unheard of as far as I can tell. They've just like formed this super group of their own band. They brought back their two old singers and they just like rejoined the band, so they have fucking 3 singers and 3 guitar players now. I have seen them with this configuration, and it was fucking awesome. Hopefully I'll get to dive into their new album pretty soon. I'm very much looking forward to it. As far as I'm concerned, the very first power metal song of all time is Kill the King by Rainbow. Predates all of this stuff by quite a bit. But I think the first power metal song that I ever heard was probably Millennium by Stratovarius. And although Halloween is probably the first power metal band, most other power metal bands worship at the altar of Stratovarius. And I think this song has one of the most banging fucking choruses ever. And I had never heard anything like this with the whole choir, giant stacks of harmonies singing the chorus to this song. And this, I think, was probably the moment that I was hooked. Glorious 90s CGI cover here. honestly, I think the reason I never got super into this band, in spite of spending a lot of time with this album and this song, is because of the awkward syllable stress thing, which, like, you know, they're fucking Finnish. English is not their first language. But there is just so much to love about this song. The chorus is enormous. Fucking huge. And I had never heard anything like this before. The riff that opens the song and is also the chorus riff is also fucking cool because it integrates the melody and the harmony together. Right? So we're chugging on the different chords as they go by, and we're playing the melody in the higher notes. And then this is one of my favorite turnaround chords of all time. So it's like kind of a one chord over the 5, because it's like, right? That's just an E minor. But it's over the B. And then it resolves to this 5/7 chord. And then we have this monstrous riff. I actually did learn this back in the day. I really wanted to play this in my very first band, but the thing is, in order to play this music, you have to be good at your instruments, and we were not. But this was basically the tipping point for me to be like, wait a second, what is this? What is this sound? I have to have more of this. It would be irresponsible of me to make a video about power metal without mentioning Blind Guardian. I think part of the reason that I don't really like a lot of the fantasy aspect in power metal is that a lot of modern power metal treats it like it's supposed to be funny, or like it's like a parody in a way. Blind Guardian is completely dead fucking serious and earnest about it. And they do it so well without a hint of silliness. I mean, look at the cover of this fucking album. When I got into this music, I just assumed that as time went on, it would get better and sort of build on the foundation of this stuff and sort of find a new angle. And instead what happened is, in my estimation, a fucking tragedy where modern power metal bands just leaned into the schlock. They leaned into everything about power metal that I didn't like. And I think that sucks. It feels fucking disrespectful, to be honest. It seems like they're just parodying this music that I love. Blind Guardian is the antithesis of that. They made multiple albums that are about Lord of the Rings, but it never feels goofy to me. This song to me is their finest work. They end, I think, every show with it, so I think they kind of know. But this is Mirror Mirror from Nightfall in Middle-earth. I have been unfucking believably lucky to get to collaborate with Hansi, the singer of this band, not once, but twice. And one of the times we did a cover of what like I mentioned earlier, is what I think of as the first power metal song ever, which is Kill the King by Rainbow. All thanks to my buddy Frank Godlove from Metal Injection, who put that all together. I'll put it over here so that you can watch that. The keywords with Blind Guardian are melody and counter melody. Blind Guardian songs are fucking filthy with melodies. They're everywhere, and they all work together incredibly well all the time. There is a huge wall of lead guitars going on basically throughout the whole song, and it never feels like it's in the way, ever. How often have you heard a guitar solo in a song that the whole crowd will sing along to? Most of the time, what the lead guitar is doing is some kind of genius counter melody to the lead vocal melody. It's a lot easier to get a handle on if you watch a clip of them playing live, because they don't like layer out the lead guitar with like backing tracks or anything. It's just the one guitar part. And so you can really see what he's doing at any given moment, and he's picked out the most important parts. There's always like octaves and harmonies and like all kinds of stuff on the lead guitar. But once again, like it all just works so well. And I am like 90% sure that it was this song that I was listening to when I was first like, oh my God, like lead guitar is the shit. I think this song would probably hold together pretty well without it. Like if you just deleted all of the lead guitar, it would still be a fucking great song. But the lead guitar parts put it so far over the top, it's not even funny. And then this little solo that happens after the chorus fucking kills me. This is like the perfect little melody to have after a chorus like this, a little post-chorus thing. There's always like a little void, a little dead zone after a really good chorus. And you can kind of leave the listener to just contemplate what they've just heard. Or you can give them something really, really good. They chose violence. Dynamics. Second verse is like way chiller. Deep down in lies my sacred vision. I'll better keep inside. My friends alone, hidden in my twilight hall. Now the world is lost and found. Sure there is no way to turn it back to the old days of bliss and cheerful laughter. And then this wild pre-chorus where they change the key and like, so we go to E minor. And then we magically make our way back to A minor. Makes my hair stand on end every single fucking time I hear it. For more than 20 years. Every single time, 100% of the time. Actually, so that's actually not the chorus, but whatever. This song is so filthy with catchy, memorable, exciting, epic things that it's like, what's the chorus? I don't know. Obviously, the chorus is the part where they say mirror, mirror. But don't worry about it. And then this like little major time. that I get from this music is the feeling that I am trying to reproduce when I write songs. I go about achieving that feeling in a different way, but I'm still aiming for the same thing. And of course, when I write songs, they're about things that I care about and, things that I'm trying to say. But the emotional target is more or less the same. There's like a lifting quality, a sort of flying, floating, moving forward at high speeds sensation that I really love, that these songs really create for me. So if nothing else, what I'm trying to do with the music of In Virtue is to be the next step that I wanted power metal to take, to sort of shed the skin of all the corny cheeseball things, make something that feels really authentic, a bit heavier and more like modern, I guess. Because although everything that I've covered in all of these different episodes of the songs that made me is part of that DNA, this is the thing that's really at the core of all of it, even though I don't think that we sound like any of these bands. But if that sounds like a good time to you, the album comes out on November 21st. The link is in the description to pre-save it. You can watch our music videos right here. I put everything that I have into it, and I'm very excited for it to be out into the world so you can listen to it now. Huge thanks to Ernie Ball, Music Man, and Sweetwater for sending over this incredible JP15 guitar for me to play for you in these two videos. You can get one of your own at the link in the description. Stay squishy, and I'll see you real soon.